Hello, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. Please grab your coffee, water, tea. I do apologize for delaying. We got breaking news. Well, actually, we got some suggestion that Meghan had reached out to her dad, but I could only see Rota Rats posting about it, and I don't report on anything they say as fact, but then it was indeed confirmed by a Sussex spokesperson. So it has been confirmed by a Sussex spokesperson that Meghan reached out to her dad. So we're going to get into all of that. I mean, listen, we knew something was coming. We knew something was coming. We knew that they were going to try and use something to distract. And I don't know, maybe he is really ill, but it's just, what a coincidence, right? The timing is just interesting as usual. Also, I do apologize. I have the cold from hell. So if I sound a little bit snuffly, please bear with me. Or if I suddenly pause or go silent, it's probably because I am sneezing into oblivion and I don't want you lot to hear that. But nonetheless, let's make it an interesting podcast. Also, later on today, in a few hours, I will also be having a special guest on for a second podcast, and we'll be having a very interesting chat. Very interesting guest, actually. Looking at the monarchy and where the monarchy is going, and all the things surrounding the monarchy socially and politically through a feminist lens. Very interesting speaker coming later today. But let's get on to our shenanigans. Let's just see who's in the chat first. Thank you so much, everyone, for being so patient. So sometimes when you get breaking news like this, you just have to make sure that you get everything and make sure that you get everything accurately before you come on. Let's see. Literally said, I wish I could send her my thoughts via osmosis and tell her to stay away. Danger, danger. Yeah. Benjamin, he said he has no business in nobody's Philippines at his age with his precarious health. If the worst happens, he's there for the women, not for any noble cause. He expects Meg to run to him. I do actually wonder if the woman from the Daily Fail, if they're actually together or she's just there just spying on him and being used as a pawn. I mean, it's not necessarily unusual even for Americans to, retire in the Philippines or Vietnam or Thailand. They are cheap places. But more often I see them retiring in like Thailand or Vietnam, just because the access and infrastructure and access to healthcare, like there's more options. So I find it interesting that he is in the Philippines. Not that there aren't developed parts of the Philippines, of course, but it's just not generally the first choice, is what I'm saying. Even though it is cheaper living, if you're not on any type of, proper wage, and I don't even know how he's making money, but in his health, yeah, he should be, even in Mexico, where he was. And now they're literally saying that he's had to have a leg amputated. Like, what? When I heard he's had to have an amputation, do you know what I thought about? Okay, trigger warning. There was actually a story in the UK a couple of months ago of a doctor who had an sexual fetish for amputation. And he basically, I think he froze his own legs to the point where they had to be amputated. And he was also working on other patients. And now they're doing a whole investigation into that, if he wrongly advised people to get amputations, and he basically damaged himself, so he had to get an amputation. And it was all part of this weird fetish that he had. I'm telling you, some people are ill and not okay. So the moment I heard Thomas Markle needed to have an amputation, I'm not even kidding. Like, that's where my mind went, because people will do the most bizarre things that you could just never imagine for attention or their deviancies. So I don't know. When it comes to Thomas Markle, I'm sorry. He's lied before. He tried to set up his daughter. He's, worked with the tabloids. Anything is possible. There is we literally have a story. I could give you a story of a person who amputated themselves just because. So would it be so far-fetched to think that these people would be so desperate? Oh, let's just amputate your leg. Like, that will get Meghan over here. Oh my gosh. Oh. Cho to CC, a big if. Meghan reached out, needs peace of mind this holiday, not this hysteria of his illness plastered on the front page of the fail exploiting the situation. Yeah, and I just think it's so gross the way in which the media have jumped on this and are trying to, basically by proxy use Thomas Markle to just drag Meghan into something. It's such cruelty. It's cruel enough when you have a parent, a narcissistic, abusive parent, but now you've got the whole of the UK tabloid media guilt tripping you like the narcissistic, abusive parent. Are you for real? And what's even more crazy about this is Thomas Markle has 2 other children. And nobody's asking, oh, where's Samantha Markle? Where's Thomas Markle Jr.? Nobody's asking where they are. Nobody's asking them to reach out to their dad. I have not actually heard one single person mention his 2 other children. And it also says a lot that he doesn't have any other extended family or friends that would come and see him and see if he's okay. But you're lumping all this guilt on Meghan? Meghan, who has her own life, Meghan, who he himself, the father, tried to destroy? This is such deranged behavior. Again, it's been almost 8 years of deranged behavior from the tabloid media, telling a grown woman who has her own autonomous life, oh, you need to go and see your father. She doesn't have to do ish. Children are not obligated to do anything for harmful parents. They're not obligated to do that. Especially when those harmful parents are being backed and supported by a manipulative, trash UK tabloid media. It's just insanity. It's just insanity. They're all over the talk shows. Oh, is Meghan going to talk to her father? Why won't Meghan talk to her father? It would be selfish if, Meghan doesn't talk to her father. Excuse me? Are these people forgetting that you have a whole king and his heirs? They just had a state banquet dinner. This was barely covered. This barely registered. It should have actually, well, I'm not going to say it should have been the state banquet on the cover of the Daily Fail or any newspaper, because we don't need to be seeing this lavish nonsense, this time-wasting, money-wasting nonsense. But you would think, if it's going to be on the cover of the useless Daily Mail, it would be the future Queen and the King on the front cover, and not Meghan hasn't seen her dad, or Meghan's dad's being amputated or whatever. They literally chose that over putting anything else on the front cover. As Glowley said, there was a royal state dinner on Wednesday which cost millions. However, the Daily Mail benched coverage of this for its front page in favour of Meghan Sussex, Tom and Markle story, because even though they're patriotic, their patronism means demonising Meghan is more important than puffing up royal family. Well, because Meghan's just going to bring in more clicks and views. And there's no patronism about it. It's not a coincidence this was timed with her Christmas show being released yesterday to add some toxicity to coverage of this, or that the source is the Daily Fail reporter turned friend of Thomas, who is determined to lure Meghan to contact Leaky Thomas. Marina insightfully flags on the Jeremy Vine show that this Meghan story did not deserve a front page, but having put a target on Meghan's back, this is the tabloids controlling national discourse and how we think about people they target. This is spot on. This is largely done by the tabloids through cynical commentary rather than the actual news. Exactly. This is cynical commentary. This isn't the actual news. We shouldn't be having a national conversation about whether or not a grown woman has seen her dad, especially when it is so obvious by his own admission, by the way, that he was conniving with the tabloids, that there was an agenda to stop Harry and Meghan's wedding, that he stopped reaching out to her even though she tried to reach out to him. It's levels of crazy that you just can't imagine, because of the sense of entitlement that they have towards Meghan. All of this is rooted in the entitlement that they have towards Meghan because A, they weren't able to break her. B, she took away access from them entirely. This is narcissistic behavior on a grand scale, including a whole media rat pack and the royal institution. And if you listen to what the media keeps saying, oh, why is she ignoring her dad? She needs to go see her dad. It's all the same script across all of the tabloids. They're all in the same WhatsApp group. We know that now. I mean, I've been on this royal shindig now for almost 4 years, coming to 40,000 subscribers. And somehow they still managed to shock me. And now we have Thomas Markle getting an amputation just days after With Love Meghan, the Christmas special. Don't even know what to say about that. Don't even know what to say. Joe DeCeasy said, I bet when all this is said and done, Meghan will end up paying all back his debts and much more than we imagine, all cooked up by that woman tethered to his life's adventures, which is just marred infamy. Yeah. I'm saying, gee whiz, that bunch just wants some money. Somebody got to pay the hospital bill. Yeah, somebody's got to pay it, right? And then if he gets even more ill and Meghan didn't pay it, oh, Meghan is the reason her dad is there. He's got 2 other children. Go and ask them, for goodness sake. I mean, if you had a whole state banquet, you had Kate's Christmas Carol, whatever, Lala, and all they're focused on is Meghan. I'm not. You said, I'm glad Meghan called Thomas now. I hope you see what Kamala will do for you. Listen, I hope if she is speaking to him, there is some kind of mediator, some kind of lawyer, just any way of making sure that she does not physically get close to him. And she doesn't have to get physically close to him at all, because that's what they want. It will be very interesting after this to see if anything from that conversation is leaked. Helen, what time will the later podcast be? I believe it's 10 a.m. UK time. It will be very interesting to see if it leaks. Heather, you said, I get a lot of commercials too. Oh, would you like to tell me how many commercials? This is a question that I've been asking about ads. Benjamin, who gets endless commercials? Yeah, I can actually look into this. I can look into my back end and see if YouTube is putting in too many commercials. I did ask about this before because it was a concern that I had, but I didn't get that much feedback. But thanks for letting me know. And let me know. If you're literally getting endless commercials, let me know. That's something we can do something about. Benjamin, the amputation sounds like possible diabetes. I mean, listen, all things being fair, he's a very elderly man with health issues. But it's just, I'm even wondering if whatever happened maybe some time ago and they're just reporting about it now. That could also be a possibility. Hold up, I have to sneeze. Jody CC, you said Carolyn Graham is Camilla's fixer. Given the same fail access, he's been living in Mexico now and the Philippines to document everything about Thomas. This timeline tracks as a huge tell. Yeah, it's a massive tell. Massive telltale. Blacklight. Oh, nice to see you, Blacklight. I feel like I haven't seen you for a while. You know what's going to wind up happening? Unfortunately, Meghan is going to wind up footing the bill for his healthcare until he dies. I think so. I think this is actually the new agenda. This is the new agenda, because then they can spin a narrative that Meghan didn't pay for his hospital bills, even though she's not entitled to. Sorry, she's not required to. I meant to say. She's not required to do that, because even Carol Malone, the liar, this liar that we're going to get into in a minute, even she was like, oh, Thomas Markle, but, he paid for her private schooling. He was there for her. He raised her. Okay, so he was a parent. He was a parent. He did the bare minimum. And what about it? The moment he decided that Meghan was no longer a full human being to him and he betrayed her, well, she doesn't know him. He can ask his other 2 kids. The thing is, we all know that Meghan is a nice person. Sometimes just too nice. And she probably will do something to help. And that just annoys me. But it's her dad. But it depends on, how does she feel about that relationship? We don't actually know, to be fair. I mean, as always, I hope Meghan does what's best for her, but all of this just reeks of trouble. And even if it's genuine, they'll try and find a way to use it to get to her, to get access to her. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I hope that maybe they have some kind of mediator. If he needs anything, it can go through the mediator. If Meghan has to have a phone call with this person and whatever conversation they had, I hope the words that were being used carefully. Don't give them nothing. They ask you questions that aren't to do with what's going on with Thomas Markle. Don't give them nothing. Next question. Let's focus on the topic. She's not their slave. Indeed. I mean, when they were discussing Harry and Meghan's future, Meghan wasn't invited to that meeting. They were trying to decide her future without them. So Meghan doesn't owe these people anything. Good morning from Germany, Jane Muller. How did his leg turn black overnight? It's unusual, isn't it? Indeed. It's very unusual. Very interesting. The timing. Who is it that's saying, I don't think Meghan will go to the Philippines? I don't think she will either. There's no reason for her to. We have Zoom now. Yeah, a mediator would be best. Marilyn, I would like to know how it was revealed that Meghan contacted Thomas. Her spokespeople have now put out an official statement. That's how we know. Yeah, it was even on Jeremy Vine. They're having a whole discussion about it on Jeremy Vine. I mean, amputation of leg. Oh. I mean, they had to get real dramatic with this. Real dramatic. And all of the focus on this is the reason why this is happening. Kate had her Christmas party thingamajiggy. Do you know that ITV News switched off the engagement numbers? I didn't even know that you could do this. Didn't know that was an option. Because they don't want people to see the lack of engagement. What's even more interesting is who didn't show up. And I think this whole Thomas Markle thing might be being used as another distraction also. Charles and Camilla did not show up. Pippa did not show up. The Andrew's daughters, Beatrice and Eugenie, did not show up. And the papers aren't talking about that. The papers aren't talking about the fact that other family members did not show up for Kate's Christmas Carol concert. And I actually think that Charles and Camilla, this might be their 3rd year or something, not showing up. Having said that, I think they were entertaining the German president, but I feel like they know her Carol concert is coming up. They can, plan around. They can plan around these things. So, I feel like they're gonna come up with excuses like Charles didn't want to steal the spotlight by attending. Like, please. In the past, it's always been Kate that steals the spotlight from the others. Because to be honest, she actually does. Between them, Kate does. I mean, it was such a big deal. I'll never forget the headlines about Kate stealing the headlines because she was wearing a pink dress. Stealing the headlines from Charles. I wanted to read. I'll just let it load. Let's go to some of your comments as well. Veronica said, I'll have to see. Oh, what happened to my comments there? I'll have to see Thomas's leg detached from him to believe that it was an actual amputation. Same. Toda Cece said, it's rather dramatic. Carolyn Graham must have planned this ongoing hospital stay so that they can milk it forever with the headline stories ongoing. I mean, just a few months ago, weren't they talking about, they were trapped in a building because of the Philippines earthquake? One day you said, I was thinking that he should have a good pension from his Hollywood days. He would have been in the union with good retirement benefits. Yeah. And so if he's living in Mexico, the Philippines, Vietnam, Thailand, then he would be able to live in those countries very comfortably with just his retirement money. But if you need extra hospital bills, things like that, you're going to struggle. I know a lot of here in Bali, there's a lot of ex-US military people because they still get their check from the military. So it's very affordable to live even if you're getting something small. Galu, she said it's more likely a foot amputation. Do you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if it was just a foot amputation or a toe amputation and they're blowing it out of proportion. So let's talk about Thomas Markle, since the Daily Mail won't keep it honest. I don't wish bad health on any man. That's real. But I'm also not about to pretend Thomas Markle Sr. hasn't spent years helping the British tabloids tear down his own daughter. A health crisis doesn't erase a documented history. This exactly. And they're trying to do that. And the part that keeps getting ignored, the Daily Mail is right back to running exclusive interviews from inside the Philippines, pulling quotes from Thomas Sr. and Thomas Jr. like it's a family press tour. They're not reporting news. They're manufacturing storylines around Meghan Sussex through the same two men who've been taking for a check since 2018. This exactly. Let's deal with what's on record. Thomas Markle staged paparazzi photos before the royal wedding. He denied it until he couldn't anymore and admitted and apologized publicly. He's given multiple tabloids exclusives, television interviews, and even appeared on a YouTube show where the producer admitted he had to cut out inappropriate things Thomas said about the royals. He's been estranged from Meghan since before the wedding, and he has never met her children. And yes, the Daily Mail reporters have repeatedly flown to the Philippines to interview him on camera and in person. I mean, I don't know what they expect to get from him. It's not like he would know anything. There's no reason for Meghan to be reaching out to him. And then there's his other daughter, Samantha. Meghan said Samantha changed her last name back to Markle after she got with Harry. It claims Samantha disputes, and the court ruled Meghan's comment was her protected opinion. Either way, Samantha has spent years doing exactly what her father has done, using Meghan's name for attention and proximity. Now let's bring in Thomas Markle Jr., because he's been playing the exact same game. This is a man who wrote an open letter calling Meghan shallow, then wrote another letter apologizing, then went right back into the tabloid circuit to criticize her again. Now suddenly he's leading a media campaign saying, my father wants closure before he dies. And he wants peace with Meghan. Sorry, folks, needed to sneeze. Where was all this energy? Where was this compassion when both of them were feeding the machine that still attacks Meghan today? Indeed. Then this is why they can't be trusted. Kim Coates, she said, I trust that Meghan knows what she's doing. I doubt that she'll ever let him back into her life again. Whatever regard she chooses to show him, I hope that it excludes the media as a third party. Yeah, Pippa didn't show up for the Christmas Medjugorje. Did Mom and Papa Middleton show? I don't think they did. Let me just double check. Middleton. Usually you see pictures of them plastered everywhere. I don't think I saw it. Which is interesting because I saw Cara Middleton talking. So Kate's parents and brother attend Christmas. Oh, so Kate's parents and brother attend Christmas service, but her sister Pippa is absent. I honestly think there's some kind of rift between Pippa and Kate. And it wouldn't surprise me if there was, because we know that the tabloids like to project. So everything they say about Harry and Meghan is usually happening with the other royals. But yeah, her parents were there. Okay. Benjamin, you said something about Andrew Morton. Hang on a sec. I don't get, this is a man who's lived in the spotlight, should have had some good friends, like the ones who help him collect his lottery wins. He can't take care of his own health. No. Yeah, no one on Doria's side of the family has ever tried to be in the spotlight at all. No one. Which I guess is a smart thing, because the way they came for Doria and the Raglan name, the way they so badly want the Raglan name to be the name attached to criminality, so much so that they are willing to lie. And they keep playing into this in different ways. It started, I believe, with the Straight Out of Compton headline. Very racially charged Straight Out of Compton headline. Gang scarred home. And there's been other similar such headlines. There was one about, Meghan's heritage and something like 100 times removed from cotton fields or something like that. And then more recently, them trying to say that Meghan stole something from a fashion set. Making all these false allegations about criminality. And it's 100% race driven. Now, what happened, for those of you that don't know? Carol Malone was on GB News and they were talking about Meghan's father. And somehow, Doria came into the chat. Carol Malone brought Doria into the chat, and she was saying that Thomas Markle looked after Meghan while Doria was in jail. And she didn't just say this once, she said it twice. She actually doubled down. She doubled down. And the interviewer, one of the other guys who was on the table, he immediately went, "What? What are you talking about? I don't know anything about that." And that's when she doubled down again. And then and then the other interviewer said, "Well, can you give us dates?" And then now she starts stuttering because she can't give dates. She's just like, "Oh, it was a long time ago." This is a lie that has been pushed for a while, and I do believe that they use bots to try and amplify this lie. It's been a lie that's been running around. Doria is highly educated and she's also a social worker. One sec, folks. She would not be allowed to work as a social worker if she had a criminal record. Mind you, having a criminal record can span from everything from littering to a speeding ticket all the way up to murder. So having a criminal record could even mean having a speeding ticket. But they've never produced any evidence that Doria has a criminal record because she doesn't. In fact, one thing that I've seen floating around was that there was a male drug dealer, but mind you, a man that just happened to have a similar skin tone to Doria's, called Dorian Ragland, who was caught for drugs or something. And that was how somehow the rumors were spun, because they found this Dorian Ragland's profile, and then they tried to say that that was our Mama Doria. These people, they're not okay. So she said that twice on national TV. Now, I believe that video has been removed from GB News. By the way, Thomas's male child, Thomas Markle Jr., he was, I believe, arrested at one point in 2017. He was arrested while wearing a tiny towel and talking gibberish. And then, of course, there's Kate's uncle Gary, arrested for assault in London. And there's been all kinds of rumors about how Uncle Gary makes his money. And then Pippa Middleton's father-in-law was arrested on charges of R-ing a minor. I don't know where that case is or where it's going, but criminality runs through this family. So if in some parallel universe Doria did have a criminal record, she'd be fitting right into this family. But she doesn't. And that irks them, because they wish that they could use that against her. And all of this trying to link her to criminality, it is projection. It is 100% projection. Because they just can't stand the fact that their stereotypes, their bigoted stereotypes, do not apply to Meghan and her mother. In fact, to the contrary, Doria has shown herself to be the most graceful, elegant, wise, patient, praying mother. And they hate that. Doria has more class in her one little finger than Cara Malone has in that whole bird's nest on her head. And given the nature of this lie, I believe there could be a chance that she could be sued for libel, because that's a lot to say, that somebody has a criminal record, that they went to jail. That's not a small lie. Yeah, Malone went beyond simple character assassination. She told a defamatory lie. I think she should be held accountable, especially being that Doria is a social worker. Are you serious? Well, she was a social worker. Okay, I'm going to read this article from Feminagra. Carol Malone's appearance on GB News on December 4th marked one of the most reckless moments in recent royal commentary. Indeed, just when you think it can't get any more batshit crazy, oh, here they come. Here they come with something else. She stated on live television that Doria Raglan had been in prison while Thomas Markle raised Meghan Sussex, and that is also a lie. Let's just say that she had left out the bit about Doria being in prison, saying that Thomas Markle raised her. Yeah, he did for a period of her life, but they make it seem like Meghan didn't have a relationship with her mum, but didn't also grow up parts of her upbringing with her mum. It's also landed a climate shaped by Malone's earlier confrontation on Jeremy Vine. The claim lacked evidence and revived a long debunked rumor. It also landed in a climate shaped by Malone's earlier confrontation with Jeremy Vine, where a caller challenged her hostility towards Meghan Sussex. The two moments produce a stark picture of a British commentator who speaks with confidence but checks nothing. I believe Carol Malone also caused outrage not too long ago because somebody called in. I think he was a heroin addict or something, talking about his journey to getting clean and his journey, how he got addicted. And she was berating this person and saying, oh, well, it's your fault for taking heroin. This person has actually come on the show to talk about mental health, or as Kate Middleton, now that she's now an advocate for addiction, showing compassion. Perhaps Carol Malone needs to listen to her favorite royal and show some compassion. Somebody rings in to try to have a serious conversation about addiction, and she starts blaming them. This is who Carol Malone is. That's the type of person Carol Malone is. It's not a bug in the way that she is. It's a feature. The facts about Doria Raglan's life stand in direct conflict with Malone's GB News claims, and the fallout shows why it has prompted calls for legal action. I know a lot of people have been saying, complain to Ofcom. Listen, Ofcom does nothing. At best, they will get a slap on the wrist. They will do a report saying this violated Ofcom rules, and I don't know, they might get a fine. I think that's probably the best that we can hope for. Malone told viewers that Doria Raglan had been in jail during Meghan's childhood. She delivered the line as fact and used it to reshape the Sussex family story. GB News removed the clip from its social channels. Oh, they have removed the clip. Viewers had already saved it and shared transcripts, and those records show a firm statement repeated without hesitation. The claim collapses under scrutiny. Doria has never been arrested, tried, or incarcerated. There are no public records that support Malone's presentation. Reputable outlets, court databases, and licensing boards has confirmed this for years. Exactly. I think where the lie spun from, it might have been something that Tom Bauer written in his book or something, and then it kind of spun from there. The truth sits in plain sight. Raglan holds a California license as a licensed clinical social worker, issued after fingerprinting and FBI clearance. This professional route bars applicants with felony or serious misdemeanor histories. Her license remained active without restriction. That fact alone contradicts Malone's allegation. The rumor Malone repeats stems from confusion with a different person. Hey! Feminagra included it in their article. The rumor Malone repeated stems from confusion with a different person named Dorian Raglan, a man convicted in a federal case unrelated to Meghan's family. The records from that case identify a male defendant whose life bears no link to Doria Raglan. Malone had access to this information, yet she repeated a rumor that had traveled through the hostile digital spaces since 2018. The GB News segment did not stand alone. Earlier this week, on Jeremy Vine, a caller named Sharon accused Malone of RS commentary after Malone delivered a dismissive critique of Meghan's work. Sharon's frustration captured a growing public view that Malone's commentary now follows a predictable path. It follows a predictable path because she's been giving a script, the same script the whole media have been using for years, the same script that they hand each other In the WhatsApp chat, Malone responded by insisting that any criticism of a woman of color results in accusations of racism. Sharon's call still resonated because it aligned with a clear pattern in British coverage of Meghan. The GB News claim then strengthened the caller's argument. Malone left the Vine studio defending her objectivity, yet returned to television repeating a falsehood about a black mother days later. Yeah, she should be fired indeed. She also works on Sky News as well. And she's just as nasty over there. Oh dear. Girljoy, you said Meghan's better than me because I could not allow anyone to trash my mother. Benjamin said, Doria comes off like she does not tolerate drama, but you have to stand up for yourself every now and then. Even the Bible says time for war, time for peace, time to cease speaking, time to speak up. Indeed. Yeah. Oh dear. I hope that they take some kind of litigation. This is not acceptable at all. Yeah, nothing much else to say about that. Just completely senseless. If they don't sue, I think that Carol Malone should be made to apologize on live TV. Apologize twice because she lied twice and doubled down. Unacceptable. All right. I will try and end with some more positive news. Let's see what else I had on my slide. Oh, yes. Meghan's chocolate. So on my last podcast, I did mention that As Ever had posted about the chocolate. And then I guessed that it would be white chocolate, milk chocolate, and dark chocolate. And I was right. As we closed the podcast, the chocolate went live and it has now sold out. Now, this was a collaboration with a chocolatier in, I believe, Los Angeles. So I think they definitely made a small run because it was limited edition. But the fact that it sold out so quickly, shout out to everyone that got it. And the flavors just look gorge. White chocolate bar with flour sprinkles and hemp hearts. Milk chocolate bar with shortbread cookies and bee pollen. Dark chocolate bar with raspberry spread and sea salt. The white chocolate one sounds just up my alley. And the gorgeous packaging as well. It looks almost keepsakey. And one of them has a hummingbird on it. Oh my God, there's hummingbirds around the Sussex house. Adorable. Beautiful packaging as well. And if you go to the As Ever Instagram, I mean, Meghan really goes out of her way to put her hands on everything, to really make sure that, everything has her personal touch. And she really gets involved in the process. As you can see in the pictures here, this is them at the factory. And if you watch the video, she's getting, hands-on, she's there with the staff, seeing her creation come to life. This is what a good entrepreneur does. They put their hands on their product and make sure it's to the quality that they would like it. Yeah, if I hadn't mentioned it, I would have missed out. So glad I caught you in real time. Snag to a beach. Oh, I'm so glad that you did, Black Lily. Cookies and cream. Meghan probably doesn't know what Caroline said about her mum. Yeah, I mean, I know they tried to protect her from as much as possible, but I feel like that's something they would tell her. I feel like that's something Doria's friends would tell her, and that Meghan would want to know, and that they would tell her. Meghan has said before that most of this stuff is filtered, but I think the nature of what was said and the platform it was said on, I feel like that is something they would tell her. Black Queen, please call a beatdown of Malone. I will pay it in tomorrow's podcast. I don't have any audio on me now because the I was actually going to play the full audio of the video because it's about 5 minutes. The full audio is 5 minutes long. But that got taken down, and nobody sent me a copy of it. Otherwise, I would have played the full audio with the comment. You have a beautiful weekend too, Jane Muller. Yeah, sometimes you have to speak up, Black Queen. It's so out of control. So out of control. It's like but I do think the flip side to it is they could just be collecting all this evidence to put into a case. And, a lot in this space, online bullying and whatnot, a lot new laws are being brought in, things are moving around, and I feel like that there will be a time, there will be. All right, folks. I will end things there. Thank you so much as always. Please come back later for our next podcast. And wishing you a fab day. Ciao.